to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
The weird thing is, like, the early part of the heat,
Yeah.
like the last couple weeks, going back like the last couple weeks,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of heat. It was like, oh, it's not, I mean, it's hot and it's 100, but it didn't feel uncomfortable. This last week,
Because it's humid as shit.
it feels.
It's
and-
weird because it's over 100 degrees, but it's like overcast outside.
Yeah.
There's literally like blocking out the sun, sort of overcast outside.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
And then
For
the
Sacramento
last
area.
couple nights, like the week and a half or so ago, Venus and I were having like a number of like jokes when we're walking jacks at like 9+ o'clock. It's like the obviousness of how much just a 7 to 10 mile an hour wind plays in like cooling down the evening.
Yeah.
The last couple of nights, but yesterday specifically, I'm on my walk, and there is a small breeze,
Yeah.
and it was not the relieving kind. It was like a blow dryer, like a hot air blow dryer, and it was like, this is not the cool down spray I was promised after the jerkinatings. Like it is.
It's
hot.
uncomfortable.
It is hot all the yeah.
We were talking about this a little bit, but my daughter went back to Portland, and they're having like a major heat wave up there for them.
Right.
103 degrees, and they don't have AC. Like no one up there has AC. Apparently, it's not very common for apartments and houses to have air conditioning.
Do you recall if she had been up there? I mean, I don't think it was last year. It may have been the year prior, where we had the really bad, like Pacific North to Northwest heat wave, and people were passing. It was so hot and catching people so off guard that you couldn't find swamp coolers and window units, and it was so hot so fast that a number of elderly care facilities,
At-risk folks.
yes, were losing folks. They were flat out just not making it.
She moved up there this time last year, so
She may
she's
have
only
missed
been
it
there
by 1 year.
Yeah, she's only been there about a year, but I do recall when we were up there, like getting her ready, getting her apartment ready, and getting her set up, going to like Target, and you know how Walmart and Target, they'll have like the big displays of fucking, I don't know, chips or whatever, like as you walk in.
Yes.
There, they had AC units,
Like
on,
window?
like on like window style AC units on pallets and shit, and fans and things like that, like right in the door.
Yeah.
As you come in, I went, oh, that's interesting.
Like, I wonder why they would be doing that.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it.
This is Oregon. Why would they?
And living here, it's like, well, doesn't everybody just have AC? And it's no.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I knew that from like Southern California. There's a lot of areas that stay cooler just because they're out next to the ocean.
Yeah.
That's not that common for people to have AC down there because they'll get coastal breeze and just it's not as hot.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. I get that. But also part of me says, just fucking put it in. Just spend the extra money and put it in, because there might be a day you would need it. Because even growing up in Orange County in the 70s, we had 100+ degree days on occasion, and it was awful, right?
Yeah.
But then living here in Sacramento area, the summers are just more brutal. The heat is just more intense somehow. But I think in Portland area, that's not normal for them.
The heat or having a unit?
Having the heat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah.
That's why they struggle so bad. So have you considered, does she have a window? Like you could send up a swamp cooler?
Yeah, we're kicking it around, but the thing is she's only going to be there for another, until October. And then she's they're getting a storage unit because they are moving into, what is the name of the town just south of Portland?
Balls on you.
Yeah.
Is it a prison?
It's I forget what town it is, but she's going to have an externship there for 9 weeks.
Okay.
And their lease is up at their apartment anyway. They had a 14-month lease. So she's at school for the next 9 weeks, and then her lease is up, and they'll put their stuff in storage, and her and her roommate are going to move to Salem.
Oh.
And they both have an externship in Salem, so they're going to stay together.
Mm.
And then, but they're at different clinics.
Mm.
Yeah. So is it externship? Internship. I think it's an internship. And then, the externship's a longer.
What's the difference?
An externship is a longer one, like a year-long thing. And she's been looking at places around here, which I think mainly would be a Kaiser one for around here. But then she was like, oh, there's one really cool one in Maine. It's like, cool, man.
Maine's got Maine, Maine, the state.
The state.
The other side of the nation.
Yeah, the farthest point away from us.
Nova Scotia.
There's no quick trip to getting help there. You know what I'm saying? If shit goes sideways in Maine.
Yeah. Your mom's not driving the car back from that one.
I can't. No. That's a several day adventure in a car.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. But they get all this heat. They're getting this heat up there. They're having a streak of 103-ish degree days right now. And my wife and her drove up on Monday, and they got there Monday night, and it was hot as fuck. And they were unloading the car. They got there at 6:30, and they're unloading the car upstairs into an apartment. And my wife's messaging me, "Oh my God, it's so hot." Well, there's no air conditioning, so whatever temperature it is inside the house or in the apartment, that's what you get.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said to her, "Well, it's really fucking hot. It says it's 103 up there right now. Maybe you should take a break, go get some dinner.
Right. Go to Applebee's.
Go somewhere that's got fucking AC, and you can just chill and have dinner and maybe a drink or whatever. And then when it cools off, go back to the apartment." And then she was like, "Yeah, that's what they did." And she was like, "Yeah, it's still hot.
We're just going to go to Olive Garden and have bottomless breadsticks for 4 hours."
Yeah. I mean, there's Shanna was saying that she was talking to, they went out to eat somewhere and they were talking to the waitress, and the waitress is like, "Oh, I get off at 2:30, but I'm happy to come to work because there's air conditioning."
Right.
And she's like, "I get off at 2:30. That's the hottest part of the day." You know what I mean? So that sucks. Sucks for her, I guess. But then, she was like, "Yeah, then I have to figure out where to go because it's just too hot. I don't have AC either."
Things are altering.
Yeah, it is. The poles are fucking melting away.
There is some crazy shit going on.
Yeah. Well, the one that's telling, I think, is 100+ degree water off the coast of Florida.
Yeah.
That is fucking hot water heater bathtub shit.
Yeah. Spa.
Yeah. Yeah. With no chemicals.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here dripping.
I'm waiting for the hurricane season to start.
I don't. Wouldn't you would think it would have started already?
I think the peak.
I'm just saying from a temperatures standpoint.
Oh well, it all kicks off from the African coast.
That's true.
But
whips it up into a frenzy. It might be a rough one.
Things are going to get squirrely.
It could be a rough one.
Oh yeah. And the amount of, the perfect storm things that are happening, even like as stuff like at the equatorial temperatures coming off of like Argentina that are pushing stuff up our way. Like the models are like off the charts. Like I don't know. MIT forecasting computers are like, we don't have parameters
Not
for how
a number.
Yeah, how fucked this is going to get for like the outliers go beyond known outliers. Like I don't know. I don't get a bunch of condoms because you're all getting fucked. Like,
don't forget the lube.
Yeah, hope you guys got fixed. Then the tubes are tied because it's. I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, even a place like Tahoe around here would be a place to get away and like defeat the heat to some degree, but that difference is very shallow now. It's not as prominent as it used to be, you know?
Oh, temperature gradient?
Wise, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could have gone up the top of the Sierras and it would be cooler up there, but
right. Yeah, you know, when Dad's
you're not
down
getting
here
away from it.
At Fridays and whatnot, I'm like, how hot's it up there? He's like 95, 90, 98. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I mean, we're talking within plus or minus 4.
You're not
from down here.
You're not winning the temp race.
And that's
there.
funny because as a kid, we didn't have AC up there either.
Yeah.
It was like box fans.
Yeah.
And don't go upstairs because sauna.
Because it's taking the direct brunt.
You know, we get home from Clear Creek in the first couple of years of Bear River and it would just be like, well, we're all sleeping downstairs because no one can sleep upstairs. It's 110 upstairs.
Yeah.
There's no... So everyone's, you know, sleeping on a couch or on the floor, and it was like, haha, I can get down on the floor. I'm lower than everybody. And that's the only place it was cool.
You're like pulling up the floorboards and sleeping under the house.
Yeah, on the concrete foundation with the box fan blowing across you because it was just like, what?
Oh, I just got a breeze.
Every once in a while, it blows across my sweaty calves. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, cool. Light rain soon.
Really?
That's what I just got on my watch.
Light rain
It's
soon?
a gajillion degrees and it's overcast, and now it's expected to start at my location at 7 something.
And then there was yesterday. I mean, it's not just my wife. I was convinced because I was working on the bike and something flying around my ankle.
Yeah. It wasn't me.
And I'm like wrenching, and it's like that nagging, like, oh, I'm getting bit.
Right.
And I looked down, and whatever it was had flown away, but it was significantly bigger than a mosquito. And I went, what the fuck is that? Well, what's this new devil?
Did it bite you?
And I looked down, and I went, what was I imagining it because it was like just tickling a hair follicle or something?
Yep.
I'm like, okay. Go back to wrenching, and then it's on the inside of my ankle, and I'm like, well, okay, that's a bite. I look down, and I am dead nuts sure it's a biting fly.
Oh.
Like, it's not a mosquito. It is way bigger than a mosquito.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking horsefly. I'm just talking a fly that was clearly...
That has teeth.
Yeah. It's just gnawing on me. And I went, and I kind of gave it a swipe, and I'm like, God damn it. Are we... What is...
Yeah.
But it's like...
At least it's not a locust.
Yeah, slow flying around my ankles. I'm like, oh, well, here we go. Yeah, you've gorged yourself. I'm going to catch you. And he's... plus, I can't go back to wrenching because now I'm like, well,
You're
how...
all distracted.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, okay, dickhead. Like...
If I just had a fly swatter.
If I just... And he's flying, you know, the fat-ass mosquito or whatever he is, like, he's all full. And he took a seat. I got him.
Yeah.
Like a mosquito. I got blood in my hand. And I'm like, this is where we are. The weather has gone to shit. It's bizarre. No one knows how to define. There are no more parameters for forecasting. And out of nowhere, we've got biting flies now. And... I'm telling my wife, I'm like, how often are we like seeing biting flies? And she's like, we don't have biting flies. And I went, oh, woman, I'm telling you, biting flies. She's like, we don't have biting flies. And I went, I will go out there and get the corpse of that thing that I swatted. And, see, there it is every once in a while.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had blowed off. Like, I went out to look for it, but I had used the blower and blew off a bunch of shit around the bike. Oh, that feels so gorgeous.
You're getting it, but I don't think I am. Just fart my way, would you? Actually, something just happened.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it was. It felt similar to relief, but I'm not sure.
Things are weird.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how the winter is supposed to play out.
I literally have a Yosemite Falls of sweat running down my back right now.
And I'm sure...
Can you hear it?
I'm so... I can hear it. It's like...
Just stand in the mist. You'll cool off.
Splash. The water froth coming from the pitter-patter. I'm not going to stick here long because my wife's eyes will roll about talking about air conditioning. But
here we go.
2 weeks
She's
or
had
so.
enough.
Oh, she is absolutely fulled up. She's like, why
but
do you guys...
she's okay with it just working and cooling the house off.
Why do you guys keep talking about air conditioning?
Because it's hot, goddammit.
It's so boring. We were at my brother's, and I did a whole podcast. It's like me in like peak fence repair.
Yeah.
I am brain dumping on my sister's boyfriend, fiance, and my brother about...
Clean your fucking
clean it, clean the coils, the air filter, and how, I'm calling my own like stupidity about not cleaning it.
Right.
I'm like, do it. If you haven't ever done it, and both of them are like, I'm going right home.
Where's
and
the
my
hose?
Brother's like, I feel like I should go do this like
I need to go home
right now. And Randy, he's like, I'm gonna do that right when we get home.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the sun and how keeping that cool. We're going over like the misting at the cool whatever the paddle guy.
Yeah.
To mist the unit. Cool and save.
Cool and save. That's
Cool and
it.
spray.
Yeah. Cool and save.
Shoot it all over me. Anyway. And we're going over that.
We'd be willing to test those, just saying.
Yeah, hashtag not a sponsor. Does Ulanzi make one?
Right.
Ulanzi.
Also not a sponsor.
Also not a sponsor. Please buy the bathwater. So I brained up like a conversation. I'm probably way more passionate than my wife would like me to be about it, but it didn't matter. She's talking about something else with Kim. And today... my sister, or it might have been yesterday, my sister sent like our group chat of like the siblings, and I think my wife and like the in-laws, and right? Jesus. I almost bought a big one, just dunk. And it was my sister. She's like, I'm randomly get this on my TikTok feed. And it was a lady who was saying, I heard shading or lowering the temperature around your unit is a good thing. And so she's got like a picnic umbrella over the top of her AC unit.
I have that going on right now.
And then it cut.
I literally have that going on. Sorry.
It cuts to a dude, like a air conditioning HVAC tech, sitting in front of a unit. And he's like, don't do that.
Oh, shit. Well, okay.
And basically he was saying, because she's got an umbrella over the top of the unit.
Yeah.
He's like, the air being blown off.
I don't have it directly over the top of the unit.
He's like, the air going off, basically it's not cooling anything because you're keeping... You're
enveloping it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I went... He's not... And then he talks about... He's like got like a hose like just off camera. And he's like, don't do that. If you're going to do anything, and he like shoots the unit. He's like, but don't use a power washer because you'll bend the fins.
Right.
So he covers, you should wash it.
Yeah.
Don't cover it.
Yeah.
And I went, that's one of those things where I feel he's both right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you can shade it, but not stifle the air that needs to be ejected from the unit as part of its like heat exchanging system.
Yeah.
Well, then you should do like if you could the sides to keep it cool and shaded and clean. And then she proceeds to send me a picture of her unit that has shades on it. And I went, well, that was exactly what I was saying. She was like, yeah, we have that. And I went, well, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want to canopy it per se, but if you can direct sunlight the radiator itself, well then I would consider doing that.
So when I say I have a umbrella,
right,
I definitely have one that is up, but it is up and only to shade from afternoon sun.
Oh.
So when it's the hottest, so it is off to the side, so when the sun's coming in from that side,
right,
it will shade the unit. The unit is free to get air and blow air.
Yeah.
There's nothing touching it.
Yeah.
Now, I did see a thing. I know this is getting long. Sorry, Venus.
Oh, shit.
I saw a thing where a guy went out on a call, HVAC call, that the customer was complaining that it wasn't cooling very well. And as it turns out, it had a situation where it wasn't able to get enough airflow into the box even though it was running.
Right.
So he corrected that and fixed the problem of it not cooling very well. So you have to be sort of cognizant of
I wouldn't build a brick wall in front of it.
Yeah, you definitely need...
But you shading it, direct sunlight,
Yeah, and let the fan blow it out the top as far as it can go.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all done. Welcome to Sad Dad's Podcast, episode 200. We are not HVAC specialists. I'm the Lord Fu.
I'm Jim.
Fucking what?
Yeah. Sweating to the 80s right now. I'm telling you that much.
So you stayed home.
I did.
Did you do anything?
No.
Over the weekend?
Well, yes. Chandler had a housewarming party.
Yes.
Yeah. And you did not go.
I did not.
I know. You were somewhere.
You were. So there were two things. One, it's fucker. I think he waited until Friday to be like, hey, we're having a thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Two, my dad wanted me to come up to do bridge work Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Work on the bridge up at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the opera in the evening. And Chandler's thing was like, keep you posted. And I went...
I think it started at like 2 or 3 or something like that.
And then I think Saturday... God damn. I think... Oh, I'm not 100% on the timing. But he gave me a window... And like, oh, my crew's going to be here, but in the pool, you can get in the pool. And he, like, all the fucking noms he was going to have to eat. And then
he was cooking.
The timing was like right when I was fucked. I was 10 ways of fucked.
Yeah. I knew that happened. So
only
it's not like I was
to be
like
donkey punched by my dad, never returning my call. He doesn't listen.
Oh.
Hashtag, hey, Dad.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Like, because he didn't stop by on Friday, of which I was going to make sure, like, hey,
that would be his normal day to stop by. It's Friday, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Friday.
So he stood you up on his normal hangout day?
And he asked me to come do a thing, to help him do a thing. And so Friday night, I called him like, hey, just double checking you need me to come up in the morning because I've got a thing in the evening and I need to be back. Motherfucker didn't return my call.
Oh, damn.
So then I'm like, all right, well, dad's dad.
Maybe he got called in to, like, officiate the World Series.
Wait.
It's not World Series time, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Little League World Series of not call my
son.
No,
I'm saying maybe he got called up to the big leagues. You ever think about that?
He may do something like that. I could see.
And then he'd be like, see ya, son.
Why weren't you there? Were you going to come to the game? What fucking game?
You didn't tell me.
I brought you a lug nut.
God damn. Nuts.
And so I waited around the bulk of the morning.
Yeah.
Kind of just like,
twiddling your thumbs.
Hey, come on up. And I would have been like, cool, thanks.
No, son, I don't want to go play catch with you because I might have to go to Grass Valley.
Yeah. Like, no.
No, daughter, I'm not playing Barbie today because I might have to go to Grass Valley.
I would love to sit here and do these other things, but I'm on call for Dad, who never called.
Oof.
Anyway.
That's tough.
So, but the noms look good.
Yeah, no.
How was it?
He did a good job. He made a pulled pork on the smoker.
Yeah.
Made noms.
Yeah.
Like Cheez-Its and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He made smoked mac and cheese. It was really good.
I was curious. Like, to what end was it mac and cheese? Like he boxed stuff and then he
it was a homemade mac and cheese.
So okay.
Like with a roux and the whole nine.
Oh.
Melly made most of it,
Yeah.
and then it got put in a metal tin and then put on the smoker for a
Nice.
while. Got a little crispy on it. They did buy potato salad from Lucille's because it was cheap.
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah. And then we brought over like a bunch of chips and like cookies and shit. But yeah, it was not lots. I mean, there's quite a few people there. All of Nicole's family and sisters and boyfriends and whatnot, and her friends and
she
his
brought
friends.
her boyfriends over.
Nicole's sister's boyfriends.
Oh, like
sorry, if that came out wrong.
Kind of awkward.
She brought all of her boyfriends.
Yeah. I mean,
every boyfriend.
They just did some stuff in the pool.
Yeah. So it was a good time though. We just hung out, and my in-laws were there, and a couple of the neighbors came by.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, and I knew you were told about it, and then I was like, oh, he must have something going on if he didn't show up for at least 5 minutes. He must have had something going on. I was
pegged.
And then I think I saw on Instagram or something. Oh, okay. He went to an opera thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we went there not to see the opera. Emily, through like extracurricular Sac State stuff, was playing in the pit. So they had a live band.
Yeah.
I say band. Live orchestra for the
punk
opera.
rock pit?
For the opera. Not my bag. I mean, that's the only thing I have to talk about this week so far. But the opera was like, I would not go. I'm not a musical guy outside of The Greatest Showman. It's not my thing.
Operatic music is.
But the music, the orchestra stuff, was. God, it was awesome. I was generally surprised and entertained by the skills of the men and women belting. It was opera.
Yeah.
In a format that was like high school play.
Oh.
So there were acts, but everything was done in operatic song.
But isn't that a normal opera though? I mean,
when I think
they are kind of like plays, right? I always thought that.
I think the good ones are, but a lot of times when I visualize, I went to see an opera.
It's just someone singing,
like Pavarotti just standing there with like in a tux and a microphone in front of his face, going as opposed to like Phantom of the Opera or Pirates of Penzance or some shit, like where there's actual scenes.
You already know more than me.
Cats.
That's not an opera. That's just a musical.
Yeah. So
musicals and operas. I think an opera is just a different style music, but there is typically, I believe, some sort of
carrying of tune longer
play thing that sort of happens. I don't know. Drama, maybe.
I mean, some of these people
can sing.
Were just absolutely just. Wait.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, that, whoa. Like, just some random guy that just like a super bushy mustache, and you're like, on the street, you'd be like, mechanic. That guy wrenches.
And maybe he is.
And he could.
Yeah.
absolutely like okay.
Maybe he's like
Okay.
replacing an alternator and busting out some.
Yeah, it's just
everyone else in the shop.
I'm fucking you.
Everyone else in the shop is like, fucking A, dude, give it a rest.
Just needed a 10 mil.
He's like, I just got to practice, man.
I just
Yeah.
some stuff and things. On occasion there were a couple people that were just like you wouldn't see, and all age groups.
Yeah.
There was a
Babies.
baby faced,
But not any babies.
but no babies.
Okay. So not all age groups.
Not starting at, but not limited to puberty.
Oh, wow. Okay. The balls have probably dropped.
Yeah, and
All
then
right.
probably some postmenopausal and diaper-wearing elderly.
Jeez. So hot flashes, okay,
Yeah,
and balls,
spontaneous boners.
ball droppings.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
I hump her. Carry the sea.
She is hot. I told you.
Yeah, she wouldn't feel it. She doesn't even know.
Jesus.
God damn. Whew.
You're making me sweat.
Yeah, it's hot. I feel like I'm hotter just not moving than when I was walking earlier.
Man, oh man. I'm about to start flapping from
Flapping the
my.
laptop.
That actually is working. Sorry.
And then it was funny because when we were leaving for it, I was like, "Well, Venus was like, it's an hour."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, okay," because it was a SAC community opera,
Okay.
opera light, diet opera, whatever the joke I made. So I'm thinking, "Oh, well, shit, go down to
The
SAC."
saccharine opera.
Right, because when we caught the SAC State, like her actual class, the presentation for that was probably 40 minutes to an hour. So when Venus is like, yeah, it says on the program, or whatever site Venus was pulling up, it's like 6:30 to 7:30. And so we all go in there and sit down, and we're in our seats with the impression that it was like an hour and out. And I was like, your son's a young buck. I may still have time to zip over there.
Yeah.
The guy that was dressed up in like a conductor thing comes out to like introduce the show and like don't turn on your phone or turn off your phones and the sound's
Only
off.
flash photography,
And
please.
he's like, so the first act is for the whatever the first play thing was it will be 35 minutes, and then the second act is 65 minutes, and the second show is 45 minutes.
Second show.
The second play is like 45 minutes, and I kind of like
Wait, what?
And Xander, he looks over
Fuck.
Venus and he goes, "I thought you said an hour."
Yeah. That's where I would have been too. Kudos.
Yeah. And like Piper, she's like mildly irritated because Xander's voice was an octave a bit too high. Like, "I thought you said an hour." And I'm kind of like, I was just about to ask the same thing, but I probably would have not said it in the voice octave that he did.
Or maybe with a text.
Right. And Venus is like looking at her phone, like flipping through shit, like. Piper's pissed and embarrassed that Xander said it so loud, and I'm kind of like, I'm kind of with you, son. Like I was told a fucking hour.
I hope you were wearing a tux. That would have been worth it.
I was wearing a nice colored shirt, but my son was like, there was no dress code.
So he was wearing a Pokemon
But
shirt?
yes, it was a Marvel shirt with like basketball shorts. Like we literally yanked him from playing something because he didn't actually know he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And he was planning on going, but hey son, 15 minutes till we leave, and I get up from my seat and I go put on my shit and I come back and look at Discord and he's like, "Leave for what?" And I like open his door. I'm like, 5 minutes, we're leaving for the show. It's like, what? Oh, okay.
Let me put on some clothes.
He spent the next 5 minutes just putting on shoes. So
that's brilliant.
Piper was in a nice sundress. Venus was in like work casual, and I put on dressed shorts and a collared shirt. And my son was clearly odd man out, but he was like, "Oh, okay, well, it's just an hour, so." And then at the first intermission, we both kind of like look over at Venus, and we're like, and she's like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, she doesn't know.
That's what it said.
Right.
She had it. It was clear as day. It wasn't her fault. She went, it'll be an hour. It says right here, 6:30 to 7:30 or 7:30 to 8:30. Like, it was an hour bookmark.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything wrong. Clearly, whatever they were writing on the program was not real world
Because
timing.
probably, you know why? No one would have come. So they have to tell everybody it's going to be an hour.
It was good. It was fantastic music, and it was a good show.
Yeah.
I highly encourage, even if it's not your speed.
So when you leave the TSOL show, you go straight to the opera.
Yes,
It's fine.
it's all good.
It's only an hour.
Yeah, 1 hour.
You spent 3 hours at the TSOL show, so it's fine.
What?
It's punk band.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. The production was nice. The music was obviously amazing because it had a bunch of, a full suite of instruments.
A full complement.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. I guess I was surprised as to how much I enjoyed the singing. Maybe that was because I was so caught off guard by not just hearing it, but being there in the moment and seeing people who you would think, like all demographics and all, most age groups.
You just wouldn't expect.
You wouldn't expect
that sound to come out of those.
So
folks.
I was kind of caught off guard. Plus, they had not a teleprompter, but like a captioning screen, so you could see the lyrics as they sung them.
That's where I was headed because that's one of the troubles I would have with opera in general.
Yeah.
Is that typically they're sung in Latin. Another language.
Yeah. So
Italian,
you could see the story.
Francaise.
And the second, I'm going to say play, was called The Sorcerer, and it had to do with this couple that the son marries finds true love with his bride, and he wants to share that kind of love.
Which sounds like The Princess Bride.
Sort of, but it's got a nasty twist.
True love.
Yeah, to believe. He thinks that everyone should experience this type of love.
Yeah.
So he goes to the wizard.
So he's going to make sure everyone feels that kind of love. Bend over, kid.
Feel it.
You're going to feel this love.
So he goes to the shaman in the top hat to make a love potion for the entire village. Puts it in the tea. Everyone has a tea. And the whole catch was that
it turns into a big orgy.
Yeah. Everyone fucks everyone. You fall in love with the first person that you see that has also consumed the potion. And that tees up a story involving...
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, yeah. So the whole thing kind of opens with this one lady who's pining for the Reverend.
Yeah.
Who's, not interested in her. His time is past. He's not interested in love anymore. But she's got a thing for him. And there is a widower and the father of the son who has this unrequited love for a baroness kind of thing.
Okay.
But, it's kind of off limits because it's just not part of how society works back then. But they certainly have a thing. You get this preview of a GI that has has professed his love to another villager, and they all have the tea, and the lady who has a thing for the Reverend ends up hooking up with a deaf old dude who can't see straight, and the GI ends up with some other random. Like,
but see, when you're putting rules on it like that, it means that you're not necessarily finding your true love. It's just the first person.
absolutely right,
Which is terrible.
and the son who like concocts the whole plan then says, you know, in order to make sure that our love is pure with his wife, he's like, we should both take the tea, and if everything works out, then
we'll be together.
we'll still be together.
Right.
There was a rule written with the tea was that it didn't work on if you were already married. So it was like a loophole. I was like,
It's the loophole
it
tea.
shouldn't have mattered. Like it shouldn't have mattered. Anyway, he drinks the tea, but his bride is like, why can't you just trust that I love you? Like, I'm not taking the fucking tea. So
Yeah.
he ends up drinking it anyway.
So now he has no chance to be with her because he's drinking the tea and she hasn't.
Right. And so he's pissed her off. She comes back, drinks the tea, but it didn't matter because he sees someone else.
That's right.
And so they love, and it turns out that the bride, she comes back, has the tea on her own because she's just so upset. She's like, well, I'll make it right.
Screw him.
Yeah. And he's right. He's right. I'll have the tea, and you know, when I wake up, I'll see him, and everything will be proven. She wakes up, and the first person she sees is the Reverend.
Oh.
So that went bad.
Who is a celibate guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, there's no one here for me. Everyone's already taken. Oh,
Boner Town, right there.
wow. Finally, I found my one true love.
Oh,
and
did
she's
you drink
like,
the tea?
She's like, good. Yeah, let's hook
That
up.
sounds like a Showtime after hours show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone could make that a Showtime
It's it could be-
TVMA show.
Yeah, it could be a real easy Skinemax thing.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden the Reverend's like,
That's right.
I'm ready to fuck. Who wants to make applesauce?
Did you drink the tea?
No.
Oh.
But you could see like some of these train wrecks, like, oh, you're invested. You're like, this is not gonna go right. This is not.
Absolutely.
This is not gonna go. And they end up undoing it by the shaman guy basically like, yeah, we can undo it, but the son has to die, or I have to die. Pick one. And basically all the villagers go, well, we like him, so the shaman, yeah, you're dead.
Fuck you, man.
He ends up like smoke bombing, hypnotizing everyone to think that he's dead, and they all magically, the spell breaks. And
so he didn't actually die, though?
he didn't actually die, which makes it, like, there's all kinds of loopholes in this fucking potion.
There's holes in this story.
Like one, that they shouldn't, because
Yeah.
they were already,
Yeah.
but it didn't. And everyone goes back to the way that they were. The son and his bride are, you know, hopefully changed for the better. You don't fucking know. And it was all done in song.
Sing song, no less.
Right. So
In another language.
Yeah.
With subtitles.
And it was funny because then it ends, right? And they're all doing like the bows and stuff. And then, you know, they come off stage, and obviously they're all being greeted by people who are like, amazing show. Like, you know, this is, and I'm like, you know, they're like passing us like they're almost looking for like a good job. But I'm like, I'm here for the
I got nothing, buddy.
I'm here for the band.
It was only supposed to be an hour.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, fuck. I'm here for the viola.
Sorry, my son's in basketball shorts.
Yeah.
It's-
We got to get,
Yeah.
don't take offense.
We got to go.
He's, you know, and Vania, she's like, I'm going to have to pee through the intermission. But, you know.
Uncultured fuck.
I know. She's like, I'll just hold it.
That's hilarious. Where's the shitter?
Someone's got to make a dumpy. Not my wife. That's uncouth. Me, I would have to.
Oh, gosh. That's funny.
So, you know, all of the actors and the singers are passing us, and we're like, we're here for
I mean, that was cool, I guess. Thanks, man.
You guys did good, but
Yeah.
did you hear the viola? The viola's fucking,
That's why I was here.
yeah, you know. But the whole thing was kind of funny because it was like like when you're watching your kids do like the student plays.
Yeah.
But these were adults still engaging in that thing, and you get to the end and you're like, cool to see people still following like a passion. Like they were all talented.
Well, here's the question: is it still a situation for them that they're hoping to get picked up by some big opera house people?
I don't know.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Like if you go see a band play that really no one knows about, they're hoping like someone's going to pick them up and put them on the label, and they're going to get popular and make a bunch of money.
Yeah, football players like hoping their agents or you know, scouts are in the stands.
Is there any of that hope for them? You know, you got like the comedy troops where they get found and like put on SNL and you know that kind of stuff, or just actors that are from small little local theaters. Is there any hope for someone that sings opera? Do they have that? The professional circuit?
I bet it's probably not as complex as it, right? I would think I'm in the same.
I would hope, but
same frame of mind.
Maybe they just do it for the love.
But like the advent of the internet and prosumer tools with real ease of use probably mean you have less hope that there's a talent person or a record label representative coming to watch your show when with a good USB mic and a set of Adobe, your free license with Adobe Premiere, those people on stage can probably, in a decent set of, foam.
Yeah.
Noise cancellation booth things can probably get out and put on YouTube with wider scope than hoping a scout comes.
See, here's what concerns me about that kind of music, because I don't know enough about it. Like what would sound really cool to me, right?
Yeah.
May not be, like from a professional standpoint, all that great. And then I'm like, am I getting duped because I think it sounds good? You know what I mean? That's sort of like how I feel about some of that really high-end sort of like cultured sort of things like opera and that kind of thing. Like, am I not hearing all the things that are considered important to know if it's good or not?
Oh.
Do I not know enough about the music or the vocal styles or whatever to know whether or not that it's good?
Hold on, I'm going to give some signs to my son. Hey, women! Spray down the concrete!
We must grow more concrete.
Yeah, we're looking to grow more concrete.
You know what I mean?
I do, but I wouldn't. I just certainly didn't go into the experience. No, right? It sounded. Let me put it this way: as you've been to a number of concerts, you have an ear for the type of music. Like you have an ear,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
It
doesn't mean it's cultured or in any way,
right? But I wouldn't say that you would necessarily have to be cultured to perhaps appreciate audio.
But I mean, I feel like there's it's sort of a class sort of style music.
Yeah.
That like commoners like us don't understand or don't appreciate or don't have any idea what we're listening to.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that. Sort of like, there's like a lot of music that's in my genre that I don't really care for much. And I listen to it and go, well, who the fuck would listen to that? Well, there's a lot of people that listen to that. That's why they're there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like that sort of style music with the singing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's lost on me because I don't feel like I know enough about it to like get it or to be,
I can see that. But again, like I am not. It's not my bag either.
Right.
You just probably have to find one of those instances where you're like, I'm just gonna pay $15 and go see.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, you don't like it, but you spent money supporting
local
the people that do.
Yeah. I get that. Sure. I understand all that.
Would I Would
Are you going to buy a subscription now?
Right. No, I wouldn't. But if it meant going to support Emily because she was there by proxy, I will go as many times as she asks.
Yeah, I would get
because
I'm playing and blah blah blah.
Right.
Can
Absolutely.
You
Yeah. Some of the proceeds obviously go to the orchestra too.
Yeah.
So I know how hard she puts much into it. And like I said, at the end of the show, I could give two fucks about the actors and the singers. I was impressed with the orchestra.
Well, I feel like if you're a musician at sort of that level, there's an opportunity for you in other places, right?
Yeah.
If you're an operatic singer, I don't know. I don't know what that vertical market looks like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you play some of the instruments that she's accustomed to playing,
yeah,
there are different places that she could go and perform.
Yes.
Where opera singer, that's a very narrow focus.
That reminds me, though, of something that we just did. We went to the gym the other day, and it was Xander, Venus, and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a cover song of the Cranberries' Zombie. And I paused it really fast, and I went, Xander, the original singer from the Cranberries that sang the song that we're listening to the cover for was a professional yodeler.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
To what extent?
That's true.
To what extent does a yodeler have any business in, rock? Cranberries did rock, alternative rock.
Yeah. But I mean, pop music is so much different than like.
But she could carry that talent of control to something that was not yodeling.
Right.
Does an opera singer who specializes in whatever?
Is that all they do?
Right. Is that all that you know? Or are they out there like fucking Flyleaf, the chick from Flyleaf, flying? And they can, they get into screamo type of shit. Look, I don't fucking know. Or who was the lead singer lady from Evanescence? Like, couldn't, like, and then would, like, belt out fucking tunes.
Right.
Like, if you throw a fast beat with some heavy guitar into some of these, the opera singers, do they just adjust, but they can carry a long tune? Like, fuck no.
Maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them are in like bands or whatever. I don't know.
Could be.
I'm curious though.
Say, there's the wind.
Yeah, I feel that on my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fart. Sorry. Oh damn. So sorry. The hot.
Could have been cooler.
Could have been. And now my wife is gone.
Yeah. She's not growing much concrete right now, I'll tell you that much.
You know what? I was looking at my hands earlier.
Mm-hmm. Callous is crazy.
And I have...
Especially on the right one.
You may be able to see them from over there. Like I have... Yeah. They're so calloused. It's like a
tunnel of callus.
Elephant foot.
Sorry.
I have all of these like nicks and cuts, and some of the nicks and cuts.
Yeah.
We already found the title. It's elephant hands, elephant foot hands. Some of the nicks and cuts have grease and stuff on it from working on the bike.
Yeah. Where you're like, oh, well, there's a new cut I didn't know was there because I just got something in it.
My hands are... there is something that I had forgotten, like, it's hard to work on my car.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about this at length before. The modern cars are super complex.
Your car in particular, though, that engine bay does not have room for anything.
Right.
You can barely look in there and see shit. It's so packed.
Pretty packed full of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not broke, so there's not a lot of stuff to do
to
it. but modern cars are so advanced. It's like tinkering with stuff is now more left to electronics and wiring harnesses and solenoids and relays and wiring and repinning.
Injectors.
Right.
Yeah.
Working on the bike has reminded me of like when I used to have to work on the Mustang or even the Fiero in high school and the truck that my dad had.
There's another one that's hard to work on.
Right. The Z. It wasn't. Well, I had the 4, so that fit in there. It was
That's true.
The 6, it was the hard guy. And the Z, the first 2.
Engine bay plenty right there.
Yeah, working on. It's like wrench therapy.
Yeah.
The bike has afforded an opportunity. It's quick. It's very simple, and the parts are very affordable.
Well, don't you think part of it is that there's no there's no pressure. It's not like it's a daily driver thing.
There's that too.
And
there's
it's
like
just
low risk.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I mean, I can work on it at my own pace, and I don't have to get it on the road for tomorrow.
Right. There's certain yes.
Yeah.
And I would like to spend more time on it, but it's like, I don't have that part. I need to replace the spark plugs. Yeah, I'll order the spark plugs. I don't have time to go to the store to get, but I still want to send on. It forces me into like taking breaks.
Yeah.
But the things that I can fix or things that I am working on it with are mostly like elbow grease stuff.
Right.
Like I'm going to take this apart, look at it, inspect it. Does something need to be just rejuvenated?
Cleaned.
Oh, cleaned?
Polished.
Right. Or does this part need to be just full on replaced? There has been a large amount of like almost like because it wasn't mine, right?
Right.
So like the forensic history of taking some stuff apart to see how it was written, how it was treated, how the previous owners, used it and put it in place. Well taken care of, but it's a 2002, so it shows it's 20 years old, 21 years old at this point. So there are plenty of things on it that are showing their age. Like, this needs to be replaced, not because it's been abused, but this is long in the tooth, the rubber, blah, blah, blah,
bushing or whatever.
Right. I took apart one of the battery covers, like just a fascia, and inside it was a tile, like the location tracker tile thing.
Oh, interesting.
And theft in motorcycles is a thing, and it had not occurred to me when you do this, like it's in the backyard, but how do you you go places? How do you prevent theft? You just roll them onto a trailer, kind of a thing, because you put the fucker in neutral and roll it away.
Right.
I'm like, I found a tile.
Oh shit!
What a smart fucking idea that is.
Yeah, you just throw an air
I'm like,
tag.
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna
throw an air
I'm
tag
gonna give him his tile back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I am 100% putting a fucking air tag in here.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. What a smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll you hope you don't have to deal with a theft, but absolutely. I mean, you stick it on a car, sure, but it had not registered to. Oh yeah, just put a Velcro and stick it right up in here, and smart.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Some things that you're like, okay, because I tell this to the kids, like specifically Piper, because she's already driving. I'm like, and we've talked about it here on the show, like you don't have to be a mechanic to take a walk around your car, kick the tires, look at things, touch things, open your engine bay, like look at the things, ask questions, like the. Looking at it and just kind of touching things helps you learn about the behavior potentially of how it's going to work. Or, it was like 2 weeks ago, she had a low tire pressure light, Piper did, on the Miata. And so we went through like a whole thing, like, okay, so we're going to, what pressure do your tires need to be at? Okay. Argonaut did the same thing, I think, with one of the girls about like in looking at the tire wall to see the information that's all on the tire wall. I'm like, okay, well, we have to pump up your tires.
Yeah.
Let's see what pressure they're at.
I do with Melly. I showed her the sticker on the inside of the door because the manufacturer has a different pressure typically than the tire pressure.
Right.
So the car manufacturer, so in this case Subaru, they got a sticker in there that says 30 or 35 or whatever it is. And I said, this is how you know. You open up your door and you look at this sticker and it'll tell you what the pressure is. And then made sure she had a little
gauge,
and I took her to a gas station. Like, here's how we fill it up.
Right.
Now I have a compressor, so it would be a lot easier.
Right.
But at the time I didn't have a compressor, that's what I did with her.
Yeah.
And but now even more so, if you have like if you purchase tires from like America's Tire or Costco or somewhere like that, you can just bring it to them and they'll check it for you.
Sure. If she's in a place where she can't.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, just learning, like, I don't mind. And, certainly I'm in a benefit of the bike was running.
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, the bike, started and would run. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you didn't try and start it?
No, I did.
Oh, that's okay. I think you did actually.
And
tell
I
me
have
that.
a couple times, but it was like, I have not ridden it. One, it's not registered, so I have not ridden it. I have.
Does it need tires?
No, it's.
They're not like
their tires are good.
Okay. They're not like dry rotted or anything.
No, it'll be and I've rotated through. The last thing I have to do is a coolant flush and rotate, and I've done pretty much OEM or OEM plus replacement stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of the hoses were differently cracked. Silicone.
Yeah.
I don't need to do I don't need to do rubber. I've replaced stuff. The fuel pressure regulator may need, and it's fuel injected, so I'm sort of bleeding into complex, but not buried me in electronics complex. Like I'm not getting into needing to get into the ECU and do mapping shit.
Right.
I'm not cold air intake.
I mean, you would only need to do that if you were like boosting it or doing something.
If you take off on this bike, if you take off the air cleaner and put on one of those like fucking spikes for the intake, that will mess up the stock maps enough to where you would have to reprogram
Get it tuned.
But I'm not interested in that. To me, that whole fucking it's
janky.
Yeah, it's not my side. Now they do have a thing that goes on there that makes it look like a blower, like a supercharger blower with like butterfly valves and everything. But they don't make it anymore, so I'm like, peace out. Stock air filter, I'm good. But if they had that, I would probably. But that one flows enough where you're doing an ECU program. I'm like, well, that's out of reach anyway.
Bike probably has enough power. You don't need to add any more to it, probably.
No, it doesn't. It's done. It's like, it's fine.
The last thing you want to do is give it some throttle and have the front end come over on you.
Yeah, and it'll. It's there.
Yeah.
It's
got a Viper motor in it, right?
Super. Yeah. What was the thing I pulled up? It was. Well, I've told you. It had at the time in which it was new. It had more displacement than the Honda Civic of the same year.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's stout for a motorcycle.
And they ran it until 2006, and then Honda pulled the plug on it and reduced the motor size to a 1300 cc.
How many cylinders is it? 4?
4.
Oh, that's crazy.
V-twin.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 1985, 1975 cc's.
They got to be little tiny cylinders.
So
guys.
Anyway, it's been super,
I don't know shit about them.
Super cathartic You're like, I would like to spend, and it's hard too because then you're like, oh, I'm fixing a thing to just make it refresh it. It's like, I mean, I don't have enough time to drive, but like the 15 or 20 minutes I have in like being able to like fix a thing or just polish a thing because it's so stupid hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any. You can't be out there, so I'll take apart, bring it inside, and just polish it. You know, and now I'm concerned that we didn't get showers, did we? It said light showers.
I mean, that's what it said, but that also could be...
I have it covered and underneath the sunshades, but I'll probably have to go get like a actual plastic.
I mean, I would think if we had this rain, it would be atmospheric rain that would evaporate before it hits the ground.
I mean,
it's warm enough.
It did enough the other day to give that like the spring rain smell.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Where was I? What day was that?
It was the one where I said, great, it fucking rained, and it just enough to mess up. Was that Sunday?
I think so.
And you're like, yeah, I saw a thing.
Yeah, I got a thing on notification on my watch.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, it's about to end. And I went, yeah, it did enough here to piss off my windows.
I didn't see any water at my house.
Yeah, we had like a handful.
Yeah, that's just enough.
Enough to make your
car dirty and piss you off.
Yes. It had to have been like a weekday, I think, because Piper was at CR College. And
I did see coming up in the forecast, I think it was Monday, we have a 40% chance of rain, and it's supposed to be 88 degrees.
I don't like these things. Not even a little bit.
40% chance at 88 degrees. This is the way.
Yeah, that's Atlanta and Tallahassee style.
And now it's California.
Now it's California.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're at time, buddy.
All right. Man, I got frogs in my throat. You hear that?
Why?
I don't know. They just show up.
It's
like
tumbleweeds at best is what it should be.
Yeah.
You should wash your hands.
Yeah. Wash your ass.
Return the cart.
Check your oil, Tony.
Register to vote.
Make the call if you need it.
Just stay up to date on your shots.
Do the kindness.
Pick up a broom.
Pick up a broom.
And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.